Hollyburn a family-owned and managed property management company, started by my father in the late 60s. He started with houses and evolved into rental apartment buildings in Vancouver. And over the years, the company's grown to include buildings in Calgary and Toronto and now Ottawa.
Hollyburn is a property management group that has been working with Covenant House in Vancouver. So there was a pre-existing relationship with this type of an agency. So it worked out very well in Van, and they wanted to do it here in Toronto. So what they did was they offered to us a bachelor unit in the downtown core for a young person who we felt was appropriate.
So a lot of young people that we work with don't want to go into addiction mental health housing, or don't need to. So they're going into market housing, and it's really hard to maintain $900 a month rent when you don't live with anybody. So it's a way for them to still be independent, not have to share, and still work towards their goals while they get supports.
I think originally one of my daughters reached out to me. We'd been in Toronto looking at properties out here, and she'd expressed concern about seeing kids on the street in Toronto. She was like, oh, she was so upset about this. And we went back home, and my wife talked to me about it with my daughter, and the most moving thing that happened to her was the fact that there was a child on the street. And so I think that caused me to reflect a little bit at the time and say, yeah, homelessness is a problem we're dealing with all the time. Maybe there's something we can do.
The initial understanding program is that it's going to be 1 year. Hollyburn will provide all of the furnishing. Covenant House will cover the cost of the lease, if you will. The youth pay the program fee to Covenant House, which is the equivalent of a rent. And the youth will live in that environment independently.
We decided after a while, in talking to Covenant House, that they also needed housing for these kids, and that was a continual challenge for them. And so I think it was in a meeting with Covenant House that we came up with this idea: why don't we take a suite and donate it to Covenant House? We'd find a suite that wasn't too expensive, a studio or a one-bedroom, and put the furniture in there instead and furnish that, and let the Covenant House use that suite. And so we started with a suite, I think in 07 or 08, in one of our buildings as an experiment, and it went really well.
Not only does Hollyburn provide the apartment, which by the way is amazing, in a nice low-rise rental area that's safe and stable, but they also provide that unit furnished. And the beauty of this is that when the young person leaves the unit, he or she gets to take the furniture with them. The other thing that I'm loving about the Hollyburn approach is that the building superintendent and other employees of Hollyburn have all bought in significantly. And they treat and include our young people as real members of the community.
I think you need strong support from a building manager. I don't think property management can just pick a building and let a building manager know this is what's happening in your building. I think it needs to come the other way around. I think you need to talk to your staff first and say who's interested in being part of this.
We have very good relationship between him and the Covenant House, and for everything we stay close. We are like family together. Me and my wife take care of him for everything. He have a problem and stuff, and we still close. I will treat him like my son.
He's been a stellar tenant. He's developed a community within that particular building where the landlord knows him, the other tenants know him, and they've offered him another year.
And it's an ongoing partnership that has helped create a culture of charity throughout our company.
The benefit that all these young people, so the four that I've mentioned, are getting from this experience is absolutely remarkable. They would not have these opportunities if it didn't exist. So they get that kind of continued and graduated support from Covenant House, much more one-on-one. In my opinion, it really helps with the probability of their success.
The fears that I had initially have not turned out to be a problem at all. It's worked out a lot better than I ever thought it would. There's been some challenges. The challenges have been the program doesn't always work for all kids. Some kids come in and they're either making too much noise or they can't follow the rules, and they end up having to be moved out of the suite by Covenant House. And that's why a close relationship with a social worker in Covenant House and the building manager that's on board is key to this being successful.
We conducted a series of interviews based on criteria that was around level of income, stability, prior independent living experience, what their life skills base was, what their plans were, etc.
So the youth that are interviewed and selected to go into these apartments are ready, almost ready for independent living. They just need a little bit more support to feel that confidence that they can maintain their own apartment.
And it also gives us the ability to give them a letter of reference saying that they paid their rent on time and that they were a good, upstanding tenant, because that reference is valuable in their future market rental experiences.
At the end of the year, they get the rent back as well as all the furniture. And again, they have to be working, and they have to be working towards some goals while they're in there.
Housing support workers checking in on them on a regular basis, and how things going, making sure that they have they're having their needs met, they're taking care of their day-to-day living well, and helping them troubleshoot any concerns that come up, not only in terms of their day-to-day living, but also in terms of any issues that come up with the landlord, and that has been working quite well.
So we meet regularly to talk about the issues with the youth, the issues with the suite. We get the manager together, the building manager, the property manager, the social worker, and usually a senior management person from Covenant House. So we all get together on a regular basis and just talk through how it's going, just to make sure things work smoothly.
You know, one of the key ingredients of this scattered apartment approach is that we provide wraparound service and support. Without that, it probably wouldn't work. In fact, the young people were very articulate in identifying that as a key need for them, that they needed somebody who they could contact not on an occasional basis, but as they needed it.
We took it a while, it's taken us 14 or 15 years to evolve it to where it was slowly, but I don't think other property management companies need to do it that way. I mean, they can jump right in and learn from our example. I think anybody could contact Covenant House and tell them they've got a suite that they want to get involved in a program, as long as they follow the same sort of operating rules that we have, which seems to have worked well.
We did turn to government, and government's been very good to us, but quite frankly, the resources are limited, the rent supplements are limited, and we were scratching our heads around, how can we make this thing happen? How can we land some scattered apartment sites in community through different and innovative partnerships? And we've turned to some of our corporate donors and to the real estate industry to be part of that solution. It's been fantastic. So the arrangement that we've created is that we're providing them with a tax receipt for the balance of the market value of that unit. And that has brought, I think, life to a concept that we hope we can replicate. In fact, with great enthusiasm, we're taking this idea out and we're starting to talk to others in the real estate industry about how they can be part of this solution as well.
Everybody thinks that our Covenant House partnership is one of our strengths. They love that we have an in-house program with youth, because I think that's a good thing. And so it's a valuable way to bond employees together. It's a valuable way to bridge the gap between maintenance staff and building managers and supervisors. We have a company where you've got different tiers of management, because it cuts through all levels, and it's something that means something to everybody, and everybody has an opportunity to participate in. We've kind of found that magic balance that actually works well for us, and it works well for the youth, and it works well for our staff. And so I think it would be wonderful if we can share that with other people and encourage them to follow in our footsteps and do the same sort of thing, because I think it's a great partnership and it's great for our company. And I'm proud that we've been able to grow this partnership with Covenant House, and I'm hoping that we can do lots more in the years ahead.